104.7 The Cave plays pure classic
I'm here with,
rock.
Scott Drake today. You served in the Army? Army? How long did you serve for?
3 years.
3 years? What years?
81 to 83.
81, 83? Were you stationed overseas or anything like that?
Germany.
Germany? How'd you?
Freiburg, Germany. Loved it.
Freebird? Everyone that I've taken out to lunch, and it's not been a lot, but I think like at least 2 or 3 guys been to Germany, just said the same thing. They thought it was the greatest place. They all loved it. Everyone.
Yeah, it's the Army's fault why I drink, I think. No drinking age.
No. In Germany?
In Germany.
Right
no
on.
drinking age.
So what'd you do in the Army?
I was in tanks. I was an armor crewman.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you, I had a buddy, actually a guy I took out last week was he was a tank mechanic. And he was the first tank guy that I had actually talked to. And of course I brought up the fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger was a tank driver. Did you ever hear that story?
No.
So he was in the Austrian army because there's nothing else to do. Like when you're a kid in Austria, it was like legit, like East Germany, hardcore communists. Like, I don't know if they were communists, but they were real hardcore undertone. But anyway, so he gets drafted at 17, and he's already huge for his age. And the Mr. Junior comes up, and he knew that he had to compete, but he couldn't. He was in basic, right? So he was training while he was in basic training, which I can't even. I mean, let alone just surviving basic training. But then on top of like the weight training, on top of that, like no calorie. I don't understand it. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Anyway, so he goes AWOL and goes and competes and wins, right? Thinks he can get away with it. Comes back, they find him, throw him in the hole. Okay, while he was in the hole, his commanding officers found out that he had actually won. They got him out, and we're like, all right, look, we're going to let this go. We're going to use you as like our join the Austrian army, and this is what you can be type, propaganda stuff. And so that's what they did, and essentially outfitted his tank with training equipment. So the sides would pop up and there'd be weights inside of it, and he'd take it out and he'd lift. So anytime, because hurry up and wait, they'd go do drills and then stop, and while everyone was just chilling, he'd go out and boom, 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 and they gave him more food and everything.
That's
crazy.
Cool.
But yeah, anyway, so anytime someone says tank, I always think about Arnold.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, and I think he actually bought that tank too, which didn't make sense. Guy's got more money than God.
Yeah.
So of course you drove him.
Yeah, drove him, and I was a loader also. I was one of 2 people in my battalion at the time that could vacuum load a tank.
Explain that to me.
When the tank shoots, once you shoot a bullet, that one ejects, and there's a gas halfway out on that the main gun, sucks the gas out. So if you can get the tip of that bullet into that chamber before it sucks in, it'll suck it right out and suck it right in.
Yeah.
So you don't have to push it all the way in.
So it'll just take it
right out of your hand.
Yeah.
But you got to be fast enough to, when that round comes out, hitting that round down and then getting that tip in there without getting that 80-pound breach.
It's like time. It's all timing.
It is.
Yeah, that's
It's
cool.
dangerous.
How heavy are those?
I don't know. That's been back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I'd say 25 pounds.
Yeah.
A round, depending on what round it was.
Massive. So, did you see any concerts or anything when you were in Germany?
AC/DC.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
80s. So it would have been right after Back in Black then.
Yeah.
Dude, that would have been awesome.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Do you remember it at all?
That'll sum that right up.
Yeah.
I mean, German beer is just a little different than, like,
Yeah. Stronger?
10% different.
10% drunk. You know what's weird about that is you're right, but they have like the beer law, so they're all really similar because they have you can only add these ingredients. There's no messing around with like it's like the German beer purity law or whatever the hell it's called. And so it's to keep them all kind of uniform. But yeah, I've heard that German beer.
Yeah, then you get the different beers at the different times of year. You get your triple bock beer, double bock beers that'll come out.
Yeah, that's cool.
Around Christmas.
That's awesome. That AC/DC tour, just a side story. I guess that tour lasted for like a year or 2, and towards the end of it, there was this smell that was going around the band, and they just could not figure it out. They were like, "What the fuck is that smell? This is awful. This is awful." And so eventually they figured it out. It was Brian's hat. He'd never washed it the entire 2 years on tour.
Yum.
Wore it every night on stage, sweating it, never washed it. So, pretty funny stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
So-
it's a lot of fun over there.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I hear the same thing. Everyone that always says that it's just a,
I was
it's a
in.
blast.
We was over there, and our company was in CAT. It was called CAT. It was Canadian Army Trophy.
Uh-huh.
When that was what we were in training for, and I left before it all happened. But
Yeah,
That's kind of neat.
yeah, that's cool, man.
Stationed the same place Elvis Presley was.
Really,
They have the Elvis Presley dining facility.
all kinds of pictures and
every,
stuff.
every picture you see of Elvis in his military uniform,
Yeah.
it has the 3rd Armored Division patch on it. So that's the one that we have.
That's awesome.
Same pins, the
Yeah.
pins, and
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty cool.
cool. Did they have any kind of? I wonder if they had a bunch of photos and stuff of them up
oh,
there.
everywhere.
Yeah,
Like
everywhere.
if we had to do battalion CQ, you know,
Yeah.
we'd go down, we'd have to answer the phones and doing all that stuff, and everywhere there's pictures of him with battalion commanders and generals.
Yeah. What,
Oh,
what did
yeah.
he do while he was in the army?
Probably nothing.
But
But he was tanks.
Yeah, he was tanks too.
He was
Yeah,
in,
yeah.
He was in the
He's in the
M48
same time,
tanks.
yeah.
Then when I went in, it was the M60s, and now it's the M1s.
Yeah. So it's kind of like the way, if you think about it, the way the Austrians used Arnold, kind of did the same thing
Oh,
with
yeah,
Elvis.
I'm
You know
sure.
what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
I'm-
look
I'm
at this
sure.
guy. He's a star, but he's willing to serve. You know what
Like
I
I'm
mean?
on a Facebook page with some of the 3rd Armored Division guys, and everybody talks about the Elvis Presley dining facility. You know, and that's what it's named. I'm sure it is to this day.
How was the food?
Good.
You good?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
That's as good as military will get you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Scott, thank you for your service, and thanks for coming out to lunch with me today, man.
Well, I appreciate it. I really do.
104.7 The Cave plays pure classic rock.